What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 9 different altcoins today. We're going to be starting it off with Dogecoin and Chainlink. We're going to go over Neo, Bluezell, Compound, Bobo, NTRN, Fetch.ai, and finishing it up with Holochain. That's 9 cryptos, 9 different TAs. If you guys could hit that like button and subscribe, that would be absolutely appreciated. And I am going to pause the music right now. We're going to get started. We're talking about Dogecoin and Chainlink first for Vector 0. Looking at Dogecoin here at 14.62 cents. This breakout move from this accumulation range, it's definitely a breakout move, and you absolutely are holding support at relatively key areas, I would say. It's kind of like a double bottom. I still believe Dogecoin will go below this line in time. I just think as of right now, what you're probably going to do is like just slowly kind of whittle your way down. That isn't even enough, really. It'd be like a slightly lower low, whatever, until you're flatlining, and then you break down, and then that's your low, and then you go up. You could go this low. I don't think you go that low. I think Dogecoin goes to around like 10 to 8 cents, but who knows? Time will tell. Looking at it on the weekly, and I'm just making sure here. Okay, there we go. Looking at it on the weekly, if you hold here, if you can bounce from here, get a sustained bounce above, let's say 16.5 cents or so. If you can get a sustained bounce and close some weeks up above there, that would look really good for a move above your recent high at 22 cents. It's not what I'm expecting, but that's something to look for if you're looking to be bullish. Definitely want to get above like 16.5 cents there. Daily RSI looks like it's kind of prepped to move to the upside. I'm not going to lie, actually. Maybe you do move up. Maybe you do. I want to look at the 4-hour, but you do also have this kind of like inverse head and shoulders here, don't you? That's not the best drawing, but you've got your left shoulder here, you've got your head, you've got your right shoulder there. And the volume looks perfect. Very fitting. Interesting. What about the USDT chart? Yeah, the volume's right. Interesting, man. You might have an inverse head and shoulders here. At which case, let's call it 16.5 cents. That's your breakout point. Hey. From the high here to your neckline. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. I mean, that would be good for a move back to your relative high that you just put in back in the end of March there at about 22 cents, right? 22.88 cents. With a move like that, that's your measure move to the breakout to go up. I would expect that you don't stop there. Sure, you could form a double top, but I would expect if you saw this breakout to the upside, you'd probably go beyond that high, and truthfully, you'd start working your way up. Nope, that's not what I meant to draw. You start working your way up to 27 cents, 34 cents. You're at 14.6 cents now. So Dogecoin looking a little bit frisky. It's all dependent on what you do over the coming week, essentially. Like, what do you do this week? Can you close above the 382? This is kind of the first step that needs to take place. You need to get above 15.4 cents, essentially. And then you need to get above 16.5 cents, okay? But 15.4 cents would be the first kind of telltale sign. However, if you close below 14 cents, I would expect that 10 cents target comes back on the table. I mean, it's still on the table now, but it becomes more of a likelihood at that point. Yeah, the 4-hour doesn't look bad. The daily doesn't look bad. It's hard to say because a little bit could change the trajectory of the price right now. It really wouldn't take much. The week is not off to a good start, but there's still about 5 days left, so it's very young. Let's see how the week turns out. Let's come back to this. Vector 0 or anybody interested. There's actually been a few people who requested Dogecoin tonight. Let's check back in on this at the end of the week and see where it's at. Because there are some things at play here that would convince me that this low is in. But will we continue to see that? Will we continue to move up and convince, kind of validate that this is the low? Or are we going to flop and do what I've been expecting us to do, which is move lower this whole time? I don't know, man. Time will tell. Let's see. There's some good things going for it, that's for sure. Anyways, that's Dogecoin. Let's move on to Chainlink. Link, US dollar. Again, this is at the request of Vector Zero. Chainlink here, looking kind of like it has a regular head and shoulders. The volume profile checks out and everything. You guys, with head and shoulders patterns, I will say time and time again, I've seen the volume profiles be not correct, and still it is a head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders pattern. But ideally you look for something like this, where you've got volume just like kind of tapering off like this. You get a high, a lower high here, a lower high, a lower high, you know, it just slowly dies off like that. You want a nice kind of slope. That's not even the best reading, but it fits the description of an inverse head, or of a head and shoulders. This right shoulder here has yet to be completed. Generally speaking, you look for symmetry in the shoulders, but you don't need to. This shoulder could be a little longer, it could be a little shorter, you know, and oftentimes actually the right shoulder is a little bit shorter, but it can be longer too. But generally you do look for some symmetry, being that you've been forming this shoulder now for about 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. This one here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This was like double that. So we're probably about halfway through this. I bet Link's going to move sideways. And then maybe it does move down. Maybe Link does break down, or maybe you hold this zone and you start to move up. Even though it's a head and shoulders, even though the volume's right, you can absolutely move to the upside. Your weekly RSI is cooled way the hell off. If you can close above this weekly low, I think you're in good shape. You start closing below it, maybe not, and you're right at that line now, so hard to say. But your daily RSI doesn't look the best, but it also doesn't look too bad. It depends on what you do today. It really depends on what you do today and tomorrow. I don't like that you close below there. That's actually not necessarily a good thing. Quick question: why is it? I don't know. Oh, I'm on the monthly. I meant to be on the weekly. Maybe this. Maybe that's the low we want. Daily. Yeah, closing below that line's not encouraging. You can see you've shown significance on it. You might be breaking out to the downside. Again, the right shoulder being smaller isn't completely out of the ordinary. It just depends. You know, you start getting oversold, that'll tell us that you're going down in the more immediate term. As of now, I think you are holding this structure, this pattern structure. So, you know, hold your imaginary horizontal line or diagonal line here. Try not to commit lower lows. However, if you do close lower today than you did yesterday, and especially if you close below that low, I would think it's pretty convincing that you are going to break out to the downside. And if you do break out to the downside, I mean, we could expect $11, $10, $8 even, you know, all the way back at your previous range of accumulation there. So it just depends what we do with this week as well. I'm not as convinced that Link wants to move up. I think it does want to move down. I'm pretty convinced $11 to $10 will be the range you go to. But it does depend on this week. If you close like this or lower, I'd say it's pretty condemning. But that's Link. A bit of a precarious placement as well. A lot of time left in the week. Let's revisit this one as well, see how it does. If you can close this week above $13.40 essentially, or at least like $13.38, I'll have hope for you. But if not, especially lower than you're at now, maybe not as good. Neo, the good old Chinese Ethereum, man. For those of you that don't know, look at this. Man, hold on. I don't know what's wrong with my throat, guys. It's like I got something stuck in it. This chart, I haven't looked at Neo in so long that the fibs that I have on here have the background. I haven't used a background in the fibs since like my first half year trading. Like that's old. That's an old. Where I wonder where that even came from. Let's just see real quick. Like where would that? I don't even know. Looks about right? Maybe from this low to this high. That must have been what it was. All the way back in 2018, 2019. That doesn't make any sense. I don't think I was using backgrounds by then. Anyways, whatever. Anyways, let's continue. Neo, looking at the weekly RSI. Looks pretty good. Your weekly RSI does look pretty good, I will say. I like the way that you bottomed here. You've kind of got an atom and atom look, right? Atom and atom. Could be an Adam and Eve, depending on how. It's a pretty butch looking Eve though. Pulling back, finding support at a previous area of resistance. High to low here. Yeah, dude, you're looking great. Neo actually looking pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think you go lower. I mean, if you go lower, maybe down to about 13 bucks. You're at 14.52 now, but I feel pretty confident that you actually found your low this week. I feel pretty confident that you have, man. I think you're going to bounce maybe today. If not, at some point this week. If that's not your low, you might go just a little bit lower. Like literally, your low is right above that green line. If you can get just a little bit lower, maybe you go down to like 14.20. You're at 14.52 now. Or you wick a little bit below it like that, maybe go to $14 itself. But either way, I think over the weeks, over the months, you're working your way up to $27. You're at $14.52 now and beyond, probably beyond. Will you see new all-time highs? I don't know. That's a different question, but I mean, it's possible. I could see it. Neo being an OG token, man. I mean, yeah. I could see it. I mean, it really could see prices up to $348, $1,000. You're at $14.52 now. You really could see these kind of gains for Neo. It just depends. But Neo, as of right now, I'd say it either has found its low, relatively speaking, or it's very, very near its low. I'm skeptical. I wouldn't really call for prices below $14, but perhaps you do go as low as like $13.80, $13.50, something like that. Nothing to be scared of if you do. That's Neo for Mr. Smooth Operator. Looking good though, honestly, actually, and I mean it makes sense with the OG coin, man. OG coins, I think. You already know how I feel about that. Anybody in the Discord or who's been following this channel for a little bit, you guys know that I think this cycle is going to be good for most of the OG coins that are still relevant. Not every OG coin, right? Not every coin that came out in 2015 or 2017, in that time frame. I would say just the ones that have been building, have not been forgotten about, and have at least not seen lower highs and lower lows cycle after cycle. Lower highs but higher lows, okay, that's just consolidation. But lower highs and lower low, you're in a downtrend. There's no hope for you. Blue Zell on Coinbase. I always do this. Let's go to Binance with more historical data. We're sitting pretty at 37.6 cents. This request is at the request of Benji, the third Benji. We're doing this for you. You also have a nice little bottom on Blue Zell here. It's kind of an Adam and an Eve. Again, kind of a rather square, just quick move up of an Eve, but I would say that's the Eve. Very bullish pattern. The technical measure move, I mean, technically it would be from the low of the pattern, technically. And then to the top, the nipple where you broke out. You literally, dude, look at how beautiful that is. You literally hit your measure move and you've been consolidating around the top of that. That's awesome. Weekly RSI is cooled way the hell off. You haven't given anything back as far as price goes. You've done this thing where most charts that I've seen, when you curve like this, like you would have dropped, and probably before you even got to here, like it would have been like somewhere around here. That's when you would have dropped. You start to like die off and slope like that. Man, I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. But you're holding this kind of area as consolidation, in my opinion. Let me see if I just got something real quick. Now we're good. Okay, so yeah, I like how much you've cooled off in your RSI. I like the little bounce you got off the 50. Let's see this week. Let's just see the weeks keep climbing up, man. I would love to see us close above here, because you guys, I have a theory about Blue Zell, and that theory is we are closer than most altcoins to seeing new all-time highs. I genuinely think that in this phase of consolidation, where everything's kind of moving sideways and conglomerating for the next month to 3 months until maybe July or August or September. That's kind of my prediction. I think Blue Zell will find new all-time highs in that time. And I think, our next target, if we look at it from high to low here, just being real with what's on the fibs here, I mean, we get above that high, it's on to $1.41. We're at 37.6 cents right now, okay? The high that I'm talking about is at 48 cents. We're at 37.67. The high is at 48. It's at 48.09, okay? We break above Technically, it would be 49.4 cents. We break above that, it's on to $1.40. It's on a whole dollar higher than where the breakout point would be. So this we're at 37 cents now. All I have to say about Bluzelle is it's consolidating. It's looking good. This RSI on the monthly looks intense and bullish, and I love it. The weekly RSI looks refreshed and ready to go, very bullish as well, holding above that 50 the entire time. Your daily RSI has been rather neutral, but reluctant to get oversold. You did it once here, a little bit there, mainly being overbought, mainly hanging out above the 50, a little bit more volatile these days, but indicators work a little bit less accurately when you're moving sideways, right, when you're doing stuff like this. So I don't know, man. I think Bluzelle found its low. I think if you're looking to buy prices below 35 cents, really, you're probably not going to get it again, at least not for this cycle. And yeah, we're on our way right now. We're at the gas station when we've filled up our tank and we're ready to go. It could be this week. It could be next week. I don't know. It could be 4 weeks from now. I really don't know. But soon, relatively soon, we're going to be making our move up to $1.41, $1.42. So Bluzelle looking good. I need to buy some more, and that's that. Let's talk about Compound. In full transparency for everybody, I mean, I make it pretty transparent, but Bluzelle and Compound are coins that I personally own. Dogecoin is one that I'm interested in buying if it goes lower, which maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I would hate to not own Dogecoin for this cycle, but if I have to, so be it. I'm not going to chase something at a higher price than I believe I can get it for. But Compound, let's see. Compounds for John Speed, Mr. John Speed. We are sitting at $52.90, essentially $53. We've got a lower low in the RSI on the weekly, yet a higher low on the price. That is a good thing going for us here. Major flush out to the downside. If we take our relative high to low here, it's just crazy. Literally tips to the 236, closed right above the 0.5. I don't know, man. I think we've already found our low with this. With the RSI, we are definitely getting beaten up. We don't look the best, but there is a little bit of hope. We've rejected the 50 now twice, and we haven't seen the oversold zone yet. Are we getting set up for a higher low, higher high kind of configuration? Is this like an inverse head and shoulders on the RSI? And yes, patterns like that do play out even through the RSI. It could be. I would say a move up from here would look like you're holding this 40 area, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but time will tell. Let's see. Yeah, like immediately, time would tell. I mean, if we break this little bit of structure that we have right now, if we break that, which we're very close to doing, then I think it is possible that we could revisit these lows down at about $47, even like $45, $44, but I don't think we go below that low. At any rate, Compound's just going to be boring until it's not. Its next move, whenever it's ready to move up, is going to be somewhere around $200 to $300 is my likely kind of outcome. 230, 304, something like that, with the door open, being left open to going all the way up to 435 or 610. We really could see, especially with the amount of pent-up accumulation we have here, we could see a very crazy move that just like takes us all the way up here. But I am looking specifically in this area. That's where my heart's at. 235 to 304. That'll be our initial like breakout move. We probably consolidate for a little bit, whatever, and then work our way up and start making new highs. But that's a ways away, right? That could be sometime next year before we see new all-time highs. However, by the end of this year, I would expect 235 to 304, that zone being hit, if not higher. So time will tell. Until then, we're being boring. How long are we going to be boring for? It could be until next month. It could be until July. Could be until September. We can afford to be boring that long. When this thing wants to move, it'll do it fast. So even if it took till September, we were consolidating until September, which would be all the way out over here, right? If we were just moving sideways in this zone and we were boring up until this point right over here, we could absolutely move to this target by the end of the year. We absolutely could. Because this thing, when it moves up, it likes to move fast. Anyways, not really a whole lot to say on Compound other than the weekly RSI looks fine, in my opinion. The daily RSI doesn't look as good, but it could look good if you started getting some positive reactions. Really what you'd want to see is the day to close above close above about 60 bucks. We want to close above 63 bucks. We close above 63 bucks, it's back onto the upside. That's essentially all we need to know. So that's compound. I'll be right back, guys. Got to get my daughter. I'm back, everybody. I'm back. All right, let's see here. Now we're talking about Bobo. 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 I'm assuming this is at the request of Chad Shi. Chad Shi likes these DEX coins, so I'm assuming we're going to be using the DEX screener. Bobo. Pajamas might be moving up, y'all. Bobo. Wrapped ETH. Log. All right, so interesting looking chart, that's for sure. Very new, of course. This is the weekly basis. Each candle is 1 week. Bearish divergence formed, kind of already played out too. Your RSI has cooled way the hell off. This is actually more bullish than it is bearish, in my opinion. I'm curious, man. I wonder. I don't like this kind of rounding out that you have, right? But it is holding flat, which I think is good. But the only thing that I would say is not good with that is it's holding flat, but your highs are decreasing. That's not a good look, in my opinion. Time will tell, though. You're definitely at the point where you're going to make a move up or down. So if you move up, man, you're going to be moving up to new highs. If you move down, well, might be a little while before you get to new highs, huh? I don't mind the daily. It could be better. I don't mind the 4-hour RSI, but it's just neutral, so who cares? Weekly RSI looks good. You could drop more and still be good. And if you drop more, you're not going to be good over the short term here. Low to high. Ah, man. I think you do go lower. I think you're going to go down to 6 zeros, 333. You're at 5 zeros, 13 right now. I think you have quite a ways to go. I think so. I think there was hope, and it's slowly been whittled away. And I think soon, sometime in the next like 10 days or so, you'll probably see a move that takes you below this line here. And at that point, that's it. You're on at least to 607, but likely 6 zeros, 333 is in your cards. You're at 5 zeros, 133 right now. So that's Bobo. Prove me wrong. First off, you're going to need to get above this high, but really, I mean, you're going to have to essentially close at new all-time highs to prove me wrong. any move up from here could just be like a standard retracement, high to low, you know, all the way up to your 618 would be at 5017. That might convince me. If you can get above 5017, that might convince me. But time will tell. As of now, I'm going to give it to the Bears. But I could definitely be wrong on this. It really could move higher, but it's just hard to say. And if it moves higher, I mean, the immediate targets would be 5027 to 5034, but absolutely you could go higher to 505, 40s. You know, you really could. So it just depends. It all starts here with what you're doing now, and I kind of think you will break down. I think you're going to go to your 382 area. You're going to go back to the area that you broke out from where you found resistance before. You're back testing it for support. Just kind of makes sense, right? That's how it is. So that's Bobo. Let's move on to, I think it's what? NTRN. I think it's Neutron, right? NTRN. Nope, I don't want futures. I just want compound. Let's see. Hold up now. Yeah, Neutron. Also looking very sad. Very, very sad, actually. Wow. That daily is disgusting. Yeah, okay. Low to high. Yeah, you're close. You're just not quite there. I bet you go between 55 cents to 47 cents. You're at 61.8 cents now. 55 cents to 47 cents. Once you hit that zone, you're probably ready to go. But until then, down you go. That one was relatively easy. Fet.ai. Fet. It does look like bullish consolidation right now. I want to say you're going to go to, you're at $2 now. I want to say you're going to go to $1.30, $1.35, somewhere in that zone. I want to say you do, yeah. Yeah, $1.30, $1.35 could happen. Maybe lower even. Maybe you do go all the way back down to $1. You could, man. Actually, yeah, you really could. You could move down to I think genuinely you can move down to 84 cents, $1.20. Between 84 cents to $1.20, you're at $2 now. Let's look at the shorter term stuff and see if that agrees. But that's my final kind of call. And let's just time out and look at what that would look like. Okay, right. The zone that I'm talking about moving down to would be about right here to about right here. Okay. So you move down to there. You look at the price trajectory, right, that we're on right now. You take that low to that low, right? So if we're holding this line, that could be by October this year that you go down there. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be sooner. I think, you know, perhaps you're in a new trajectory, a new trend, whatever. Well, you probably break out of that. It probably goes a little bit lower. All I'm trying to say is you can hit this zone and still have a discernible higher low that keeps you in this prevailing uptrend that you're in right now. You know, I don't think that it takes you until September, October to find the low. It might take you until September or October to move past this high. But yeah, I think you're moving down to $1.20 to 84 cents, somewhere in there. That's Fetch.ai. That's my thoughts. Let's look at the daily real quick. Hold on. I don't like the daily. Yeah, I don't like it. RSI is not looking good. 4 hour looks crap. Yeah, I think you're moving down. $1.20 to 84 cents, somewhere in that range. That's Fetch. Let's finish this up with Hollow Chain, right? Or isn't it Hollow? Or is it Hollow Microcloud Hologram? What? Okay, so Chris G, I think we're going to talk about, I think it's a stock, right? That's what you want? Or are you talking about hot holochain? I don't know, Chris G. We're going to talk about holochain for you. I forgot that holochain was hot. That's what it is, right? And if this isn't what you wanted, well, specify stock or crypto. But I think this is what you wanted. You requested holo on a crypto video. I'm assuming this is what you wanted. Low to high. 618 support tipped, 382 resistance. Balls in the bear's court. Let's see what we do with that 618 area at about $0.0018, $0.0016. If you can break below this white zone here, well, down you go to 0.0013, 0.00115. That very capable targets to hit. Will you is the question. You know, I'm not so sure you will. With the way you're set up right now, it's absolutely possible. But you absolutely could find another like kind of double bottom. I don't think that you hold this area. I do think you return back to this low. Will you double bottom? Will you go slightly lower? Will you go like to a lower low, kind of in this trajectory? Like who knows? But lower nonetheless. You're at 0.00215. Let's see how you do at that 0.0018 area. And that's all I got, guys. If there was one of these coins that I would call a winner, if there was a winner of today's video, you know, Bobo could be the winner, but it's too uncertain in my opinion, and it does look like it wants to go down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but if it were to go up, if it were to break out to the upside, it would probably be the winner out of this list. Blue Zell, same thing. It could be the winner, Benji. It's really close. But when is it going to move up? When's it going to do its thing? That it could be a month from now. You know, as far as what's going to do the best in the shortest amount of time, the one that I have the most confidence in the nearest amount of time, the one that I think would do the best would be Neo. So that goes to Mr. Smooth Operator Smooth. You won this altcoin showdown tonight, so congratulations. That's all we got, with an honorable mention of Blue Zell for Benji the Third and Bobo from Chad Shi. But that's all we got. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, leave me a comment as to why it was terrible. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.